Here's the cucumbers with some volunteer tomatoes that I had come in. I'm just gonna weed out the young ones or just let them die out from where they don't get any sun. And some potatoes I planted pretty much the same time I direct sowed these cucumbers. Folks, if you don't have a garden going, you need to get one going immediately. It's not that hard. All these raised beds are 2x10s, 3 2x10s that are 8 feet long. I cut one of the 2x10s in half, and those are your ends, and I keep the 8-footers long, and I just attach them with screws. And this system's been in place for at least 4 years. They do rot out, even if you buy pressure treated. And I've got a bed over here that I'm gonna have to replace pretty soon because the ends are falling apart, which I'll probably do in another year or two. Folks, you got to get this garden going. You can't wait any longer. I know you're feeling the food prices. We are too. But this is 20 years of gardening, and I still don't grow enough for the 4 of us. But one thing I did start in 2018, I don't know if it was intuition or what. Here's a blueberry bush. This is what I was going to talk about, is my food forest, which does give me a lot of food. And every year it gives me more and more food. I transplanted this blueberry bush out of my vegetable garden, and just to make more room for vegetables, and put it on the outskirts of the garden. And it's doing pretty good. But its brother over here, I think I killed it. Which is fine, because this is one of the first blueberry bushes I ever bought, and I lost the tag, so I don't even know what kind it is. But it is producing blueberries. And I've got a hardy kiwi vine right here that is in its 4th year, and it's just like a grapevine. You have to cut it back at least 30-40% every year. But the thing I like about the food forest, folks, is you plant it once, and it literally just gives to you every year. Of course, I made an archway out of this one with a cattle panel, which you can't even see now hardly. I do have to trim this up quite a bit. And then I've got some more potatoes over here, and some of my food forest stuff, like a hybrid raspberry, which is like a black raspberry. They're actually really good. Go ahead and eat one. Got some all-star strawberries. There's a boysenberry. I don't know if you can see the red berries, but they'll get darker once they do. It's a really, really sweet berry. But anyway, folks, I don't want to bore you with the whole food forest. I'll give you a full tour one day, but you're definitely looking at about a 30 to 40 minute video. But folks, you got to get started on this stuff. I ordered most of my stuff from Stark's Brothers online. It shows up within a reasonable amount of time. I think I've had maybe 3 losses out of my whole food forest from Stark's. Everything else has made it. Here's a big fig that I cut back last year. Oh my gosh, has it just literally just ballooned out. And this is a blackjack fig. There you go. Oops. I try to keep my stuff labeled because I do have the intention of cloning most of this stuff and selling it or giving it away. Here lately I just give it away because I want to promote people having a food forest. Here's an English chestnut. Oh, it's so beautiful. And I should get nuts off of this either this year or next year. Most nut trees take anywhere from 4 to 7 years, and I don't see any nuts on this one, so I'd say probably next year. But as you can see, this is just one side of my fence. Here's another blueberry that came out of the garden I thought I killed, and it's coming back. And those are strawberries, and I forgot what this is. I think it's either I think it's a gooseberry. Yeah, Pixwell gooseberry. And it gives it's almost like a white grape. And it's not ready yet. This will be the first time I've ever tasted one. I've tasted the non-ripe ones, and woo, you talk about bitter. But I really think food forestry is the way to go. It's and you plant different species, and the more variety you have, the better off it seems everything does. I mean, like I've got raspberries coming in here on my gooseberries. I mean, I have to turn these raspberries back like crazy. Got a grapevine going up here, which I don't even see the tag for it. It's all the way down here. Oh, it's a coart muscadine. And then of course I must have a pollinator next to it. It's another grapevine going up. Here's some thornless blackberries on the other side of the fence. An apple tree that I don't see any apples on it. It's a fairly young apple tree, but the one right up here has apples on it. And I planted them at the same time, both from Stark Brothers. Some more gooseberries on the other side. And I'll be honest with you folks, I eat more out of the food forest than I do my garden. And I'll be honest with you, I learned something new like this is the first year I did solo cups instead of the regular seed trays. And of course this is my third seeding. Most of these I'll either give away or try to find somewhere in the food forest to put them, which is another good thing about the food forest, is you can hide stuff in there and get it to grow right along with the food forest. And then when it dies, I don't till it or anything. I'll either pull it or let it die right where it's at and cover it up with mulch. These are some wood chips out of the chicken starter we got. Trying to put it on pathways that won't grow grass, but I'll be honest with you, I have no intention of growing much grass. All the black plastic is for my cantaloupes that are next to my other fig trees. They're going to come down and I'm going to guide them all the way through this, but I've got 3 of these vines started. And I don't know if you folks can tell, but I actually have an indention here. And here's my gutter spout. And when I don't have this in my overflow tank for watering, I put it in this, I aim it towards this trench. And this trench goes all the way down. Of course, it goes all the way down here. It keeps going. There's another, that's a watermelon. Keeps going, feeds this other fig, and then feeds this pumpkin. I'm about to get a big rain here in a minute. I don't know if you heard the thunder, but once this trench fills up, because it's on a slope, and of course it'll just overflow once it fills up. I've got an overflow on both sides, and you would be surprised how much it slows the water flow down, lets it percolate even through that dense clay. And then of course I got mulch on the back side, so that just slows it down even more. But I trenched this tree last year, and I did not trench this tree. And I'm gonna step back, and I don't know if you can see the difference. And you'll have to excuse the mess, folks. I've turned that chicken coop, or I've turned my lean-to into a chicken coop. But see, I planted this tree and this tree the same year, the same day. I put a trench in front of this big tree, and I didn't in this one, just as an experiment. And I'm gonna see if I can get this in a camera view, but the trenching works, folks. It definitely works. And of course, since I've learned this experiment, I trench all the way down my hill. Everything's terraced down, but everything has a small trench in front of it, except for my corn, because I didn't want the erosion. But everything else has a trench in front of it. And of course, we're putting on a deck to the house, so that's why everything is literally just looks like a Jed Clampett's house here. But give me about, I'd say another month and a half. I'll have a lean-to on the side of that building. I'll have this deck done, and everything I seed started in the garden that you don't see popping up yet, that garden will look like my food forest. Folks, if you're not getting ready for what's to come, you've had plenty of warning. You've had plenty of warning. It's another compost pile. I've got 3 new ones I put down here next to the shed that you can't see because of all the foliage. And this is going to be a 38 by 12 deck. And as you can see, my sealant didn't work for it. I'm going to have to cut that out, redo that down to my metal flashing. I tried to use door and window tape sealant, but the sun is just baking it and making the glue release, dropping it. But folks, I'm gonna make this video short. It's my first video. I'm not gonna edit it. I don't believe there's a need in editing, unless you're just wanting to show people the faker side of yourself. I'll probably will never edit a video. Here's another food forest item. It's a black currant. They used to be illegal in the early 1900s because of some fungus that attacks them. Ooh, and we're gonna actually get some this year. This will be the first year I get a black currant. So get that in view better. And I got some more blueberry bushes. Taking the fence apart because it's in the way of the new deck. Having to trench out because, and we're having to do all this by hand because, one, you can't get machinery back here because of the food forest. And it's light digging, really. Digging down maybe 6 inches just so the timber doesn't touch any soil. But that's today's objective if we don't get rained out. But just give me a like if you agree with anything I say, and if you don't, give me a thumbs down. I really don't care. I just hope that if 100 people listen to this video, somebody takes some content out of it and wants to do something proactive. You know, if you don't want to do without it next year, you better get it now. And whether that's eggs, so therefore I got a chicken coop. If it's food, get you some beans and rice. And if you don't have extra food, I wouldn't even worry about what all the other preppers say about gold and silver, because food will be worth more than gold and silver in the next year. I'll be honest with you, I've got both, and if I'm starving and you're starving and you've got a handful of gold and all I've got is a bowl full of rice and we've both got empty stomachs, you're keeping your handful of gold and I'm eating that bowl of rice. I mean, it's just common sense, folks. It's 3 minutes without air, 3 days without water, and 3 weeks without food. Folks, have a good day. This is Tennessee Prepper out.